Let's talk the cup. One more thing, like, subscribe, and share. Come on, let's talk the cup. Woo!
Hey everybody, how are you all doing? It's Cutler here, the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast, the Let's Talk to Cutler YouTube channel, the Let's Talk to Cutler virtual book club. And yeah, I know different background, different background again, but hey, kind of get used to this one. But I want to just thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for tuning in. We spend 1,800 seconds together every Tuesday and Thursday. And I, for one, enjoy the time that we spend together. I really, really do, because it gives me a chance to offer some words that I hope are inspiring. It gives me a chance to offer some conversation that I hope is motivating. And then it also gives me a chance to walk away feeling challenged. While I'm challenging you all, I walk away feeling challenged as well. What kind of challenge are you talking about, Cutler? Challenging myself to make sure that I've shown up better today than I did yesterday, making sure that I'm intentional and deliberate about showing up better tomorrow than I did today. And then all things concerned and all things considered, making sure that I'm doing my best to show up as my best self, even in the worst of situations. Life just can throw all sorts of things at you, all sorts of situations. But my goal is to always show up my best self, even in the worst of situations. How about you all? So if you're just stopping by for the first time, if you're wondering what this channel is about, that's what it's about in a nutshell. So do me a favor, tell somebody, come on, let's talk to Cutler. Come on and do me a favor and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, come on, go ahead and subscribe. And then after you subscribe, go ahead and click on the notification bell, because it lets you know whenever I've gone live, whenever I uploaded, whenever I have uploaded new content. And then when you click on the notification bell, it's either going to be right down there, it's going to be up there, it's going to be over there, or it's going to be over there. One way or the other, you'll click on the notification bell, because it lets you know whenever I am here or whenever I've uploaded something new. And thank you all, those of you who have been with me for a while. Come on into the chat. You all, I see some of you on, but I need you to just come on over to the chat so I can shout you out and just let you know that I see you, and then just thank you all for being among my VIPs this evening. So, I tend to see people on this end who hop in the chat first, and sometimes people have sent me messages and said, no, you didn't see me, you didn't call me out, you didn't see me in the chat. Annie Cutler, I see you. So thank you, Linda. Thank you, Paula. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Tracy, thank you all so much. So listen, I want to talk this evening about how to make sure the right people are in your corner. How to make sure the right people are in your corner. I told you all that I'm reading this book by T.D. Jakes, and it's called Disruptive Thinking. I've shared this with y'all before. And again, this is not a promo for his book, because he certainly doesn't need any promo for me. He stands alone. But a part of what I was reading here talks about this whole notion of making sure that you have the right people in your corner. And that is so very important, to make sure that you have the right people in your corner. As a matter of fact, I think what he calls it making sure that you have disruptive partners, people who can disrupt your bad behavior or normal behavior, because a lot of times people exist in chaos. Oh my God, I'm talking already. People sometimes exist in chaos, and they normalize the chaos. They normalize the chaos, but at some point you need to not normalize the chaos, but you need to interrupt or disrupt that way of thinking and solve problems in the middle of the chaos, rather than allowing it to become your normal way of being, your normal way of showing up, your normal course of action. You need to interrupt or disrupt your way of thinking. And one of the things that he points out in this book is that you need to make sure that you have disruptive partners. So that's really what I want to talk about. I want to make sure that you have disruptive partners in your life, people who will interrupt the dysfunctionality, people who will interrupt and disrupt the normality of bad situations, who will help you sometimes when you just necessarily can't help yourself. So we're talking about how to make sure the right people are in your corner. How many of us can really say, and we don't need to call names, so how many of us know, we can look back over our lives and say, you know what, some of those bad decisions I made, I probably wouldn't have made them if I would have had someone to steer me the other way. Or I probably would have had a different outcome of someone if I could have just bounced this off of somebody. Or maybe that was the wrong person. That person gave me advice and I shouldn't have taken that. It's making sure that we have the right people in our corner. It is so very important to make sure that we have the right people in our corner. I remember when I was growing up, and although people talk about it in a spiritual context, they will say things like, make sure that when you're dating or when you have friends in general, that you're not unequally yoked. And I thought, wow, that has meaning to it. And it has meaning to it in various facets of life, whether you're talking about marriage, whether you're talking about friendships, whether you're talking about business partnerships and acquaintances, those sort of things. You want to make sure that you have somebody who you share common goals, common aims, common purposes, and when you seem to be off focused or off center, they can reroute you. They can help you recalibrate. It is so important because if we're talking about showing up our best selves, even in the worst of situations, Bobby, it's good to see you. When we talk about showing up at our best selves, even in the worst of situations, sometimes we allow our worst part to show up, but we need people to pull us back on track. Had you ever been in a situation you said, you know what, I can't believe that I acted out of character. I can't believe that I did that. I can't believe that I responded. I can't believe that I said that. A lot of times it is because we need people in our lives. We need people in our spaces. We need people in our circles who can get us back on track, who can interrupt our way of behaving. We need people who will partner with us to make sure that when we are acting out of character, when we are challenging our own integrity, they say, you know better than that. You know that's not the way that you behave. What made you think that was okay? What made you think that was acceptable? What made you think that was all right? That is why we need to make sure that we have the right people in our corners. Because every now and then, we need someone to help us disrupt or interrupt our way of being. And I think that's what we do every Tuesday and Thursday night when we get together and we talk these things over, we think these things out. I walk away considering the conversation that we have had. I do it so often. I think, what is my takeaway from that conversation? And I'm not saying, again, you all have heard me say this. I'm not saying that we have to cut people out of our lives. But again, here goes my saying. Here's one of Cutler's saying. I have to make sure that I have people in my life as I'm building this foundation, as I'm building this environment. I need to have people in my life whose brick fit the foundation of the house and the life that I'm trying to build. I really, really do. So Cutler, if that is the goal, how do we make sure that we have the right people in my life? Well, I'm glad you asked. You need to, first of all, take an inventory of who's in your life. Here we go again. Inventory time. Take an inventory of the people who are in your life. A few weeks ago, I talked about when to know that a friendship is over. I'm not necessarily talking about knowing that a friendship is over, but I'm talking about now. Inventory the people who are in your life and ask yourself, are there people here who all think the way that I think? That's not a good thing. When you have just a whole group of homogenous people, everybody think the same way. No, absolutely not. You don't want that. Everybody thinks the same way. They process the same way. They reason the same way. Nobody thinks out of the box. Nobody pushes you to think out of the box. It pushes you to think beyond your limits. We can't think beyond the box because the box is all that we see. But I want to remind us, let's make good and sure that the right people are in our corners. Let's make sure that the right people are in our corners. The right people are in our lives. The right people are in our circles. And the right people are in our... How do we do that? How do we... things that we can talk about, you all? So let's chit chat about it, because we want to make sure that we have partners or what disruptive partners. And what do they look like? How do they show up in our lives? Well, for some people, we have are achievers just like us. They are what one author called co-achievers. They share your values. They share your goals. I think the young people call these BFF, best friends for life, or whatever the BFF stands for, something like that. Maybe they're doing what you business. Maybe they started a business the same time you did. Maybe somewhere along your life, you realize that your progress is parallel on the trajectory of your life. You're making the same progress. You're making similar progress. You have similar things in mind, accomplish similar things that you want to do. Because when you're on a similar journey, it's easy to brainstorm pain points and goals. When you're on a similar journey, you can easily brainstorm pain points and things that cause you heartache and heartbreak. And you can also brainstorm goals. This is where I'm going. This is what I want to do. I call those people, I read this article, and these people are called co-achievers. Doesn't mean that you all have to look like, identical twins, but you share similar values and similar goals. Make sure there's somebody in your life with whom you share similar values and similar goals. Everybody doesn't have to think like you. You don't want everybody in your circle alike. Everybody thinking alike. Again, that's what we call homogenized. And you don't want that. You want co-achievers who have similar goals, but you don't want everybody who's just like you. Then you want people that we consider cheerleaders. Because a lot of times, why do we need cheerleaders, Cutler? Because a lot of times, if I can just get us to do this, sometimes I stress and pull just trying to get us to celebrate our wins. But when we do, a lot of times we celebrate our wins and struggles all by ourselves. We celebrate our wins. We deal with our losses all by ourselves. And even sometimes as we're struggling, we don't want to struggle by ourselves. You don't want that. We need cheerleaders. People who are there for us, people who are there with us. You want a person who's already your hype person. Somebody who energizes you, somebody who puts the fire under you, somebody who helps charge you, somebody who helps you to reinvigorate and rejuvenate. Those are cheerleaders, and that's who you want in your life. Whether it's a parent, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a business partner, whether it's a best friend, whether it's somebody who lives in your neighborhood, whether it's your sibling, it doesn't matter. But these people, make them your cheerleading squad. In fact, you don't need to put out applications, but when you're making sure that you have the right people in your corner, y'all make sure that you have co-achievers, make sure that you also have cheerleaders. Because cheerleaders will push you on when you're tired. And then not only do we want the co-achievers, not only do we want the cheerleaders, but think about this, you all. You want someone whose example you can follow. You want somebody who may have paved the way, maybe someone who has done what you're trying to do or who has done something similar to what you're now doing. You need somebody who's a mentor. Whether it's from a professional standpoint, whether it's from a personal standpoint, whether it's someone that you just look up to because of their success, we need mentors to guide us. Mentors to help us along this journey with what we do. Why? Because they can help us avoid some of the mistakes. I'm talking about making sure that we have the right people in our corner. For the most part, they've been there. It's almost like these are the people who can say, I've been there, done that. Been there, done that, got the scars, got the bruises. But they are still showing us how it is to be done. Wow. I just paused for just a moment, so you all may have caught that pause. And I was thankful. I was giving thanks in that moment of pause, in that moment of silence. I was giving thanks for the mentors who have been in my life, who have come, whom I've come in contact with along this journey. Some of them are no longer here in this present world, but I'm so thankful for mentors who took the time to invest in my life. And I offer us a moment to give thanks for our mentors. I offer us a moment to give thanks for being a mentor to somebody else. Not only must we celebrate the mentors that we have, but I challenge us to become a mentor for somebody else. Be for somebody else what someone was for you. And then almost the antithesis of that, be for somebody else what somebody wasn't for you. So if you did not have a mentor, be for somebody what you did not have. If you had a great mentor, be for someone what you did have. I'm just talking about making sure that we have the right people in our corner, the people who are connected to us, the people who can push us, the people who will poke us and prod us, commend and applaud us, redirect us. These are the people that we need in our co-achievers, not just the cheerleaders, not just the mentors, but we also need, here's something that I don't think we necessarily like. We need accountability partners. We need accountability buddies. We need people who will hold us accountable. This is the person who holds you responsible for your goals and checks on your progress. Tell somebody, I need you to be my accountability buddy. Assign somebody that role. Somebody to help goals, to help you stay focused. Because there always will be highs and lows and ups and downs and ins and outs and rounds about, but you need somebody to help keep you pushing forward, to help you keep going upward, to help you stay on the straight and narrow, to help you stay aligned with your purpose, aligned with your goal, aligned with your objectives, aligned with the task at hand. We need somebody who's called an accountability partner. We don't like accountability, because every now and then we want to do our own thing, but I'm telling you, be accountable. And get someone who you trust, and someone who's not going to always say, yes, what you're doing is fine, because a lot of times what you're doing is not fine. A lot of times what you're doing is not okay. Sometimes we're just doing mediocre things. Sometimes we're doing wrong things. Sometimes we're just doing indifferent things. But an accountability partner, an accountability buddy will make sure that we stay on the right track. My dear friends know that they can call me and they say things like, Cutler, that seems so out of character for you. Cutler, what are you doing? Cutler, are you online with your goals? Are you aligned with your goals, or are you on task? I've talked to friends and colleagues about doing certain things, and they shared some things with me, and I said, well, let me just ask, why are you sharing? And I want to be very clear. Why are you sharing? A lot of times when people share things with you, all you have to ask them, why are you sharing? What is it that you want me to do? What role do you want me to play in your life? Okay, pause. Let's just go here for a moment. Sometimes we need to go back to people and say, what role do you want me to play in your life? Because when I start playing that role, when I start functioning in that capacity, I need to make sure that you're ready for what I have to say, ready for what I have to do, ready for what I have to give. Stop asking people to play certain roles in your life. You're not ready for the feedback and the responses they're going to give you in that capacity. I want to get more fit, and I need to get in shape rather, and I want somebody to hold me accountable. Well, so when someone says, all right, well, let's get out and let's walk, don't say no. Don't he and haw and say, oh, you know what, my foot is hurting, or I'm hungry, I need to eat, or can we do this tomorrow? No, you ask that person to step into your life in a particular role. So you all, when people start functioning in that capacity, why do we get upset? Why do we get upset when we name somebody as a best friend, or we name them as a colleague, or we name them as someone who is endeared to us, somebody that we can trust, and then as soon as they say things to us that are out of sync with what we want to hear, we get upset with them, and then we cut them off altogether. I'm not talking about, like I did a few weeks ago, about when is it time to cut some relationships off and just cut them off. I'm talking about when, just because you don't like what someone said to you when they're trying to help you and keep you accountable, you just cut them off and let them go. I don't need you in my life anymore. No, the problem is you do need me in your life. You just don't want to be accountable in this moment. Get up, put your shoes on, let's go outside and walk. Oh, you want to eat healthy or healthier? Okay, fine, no problem. Let's go to the supermarket. Oh, well, listen, that organic food is so high. Those vegetables are high. Just eating healthy is high. Well, it may be higher than eating fast food. That's the goal. Fast food, junk food, they set the prices low so you make the best decisions. You want somebody who will hold you accountable. Why did I just go off on that for just a moment? And not only you should you should ask people, what role do you want me to play in your life? And then again, make sure that we're clear about defining the roles that we want others to play in our lives. Let's just find out how this thing is done. Because when you have a whole cast of characters coming into your life, coming on stage, they need to know their role. Sometimes I've said to my friends, and some of them can attest, they really can attest to this. I've said to them, give me my script. Well, Cutler such and such and such, and Cutler, we're going to do this. Okay, sure, fine. Give me my script. And they've come to know that what that means is, all right, how much leeway do you want to give me? Am I completely autonomous here? Am I going off script? Am I saying everything? Am I being true to who I am? Or am I in character? Sometimes we have to ask people that. I just need to know how you want me to function here. So we have the co-achiever. Yes, we do. The person who has similar goals. We have the cheerleader, the one who's just going to push you on, celebrate your wins and struggle through your losses right along with you. We have the mentor. Not only are we going to look for a mentor, but we're going to become mentors. But the mentor is the one who is your professional coach or your personal coach, the one who has been there, done that, got the scars, got the trophies, got the t-shirts, got all of that kind of stuff. They're there to help guide you along your journey, to help you avoid some of the pitfalls and mistakes that they made. And then we have the accountability partner or the accountability buddy. These are the people who will hold you responsible for meeting your goals, and they'll check on your progress to make sure that you're meeting your milestones, that you're right on target with what you said you were going to do. And then we have this group that's called the divergent, or I like to call them the devil's advocate. Who are these people? They are the ones who are not afraid to challenge your thinking. So when I talked about disruptive thinking and disruptive partners, you need someone who is not afraid to challenge your thinking and who will provide you with honest feedback and not just say yes, yes, yes to everything, not just be your yes man or your yes woman, but you want somebody who is not afraid to challenge your thinking, and you must be willing to hear what they have to say. I know a lot of people who say they want feedback, but on the same hand, I know people who don't want feedback because they don't want to be challenged. Challenge me. I need some divergence. People who are not afraid to challenge my thinking. People who will give me honest feedback. Because guess what? As grand and as great and as wonderful as we all may think we are, there's still room for growth. There's still room for improvement. There's still room for better. So let's get these divergence in our lives. They are the ones who will think outside of the box. Because I asked about it before. How good are you at thinking outside of the box? A lot of times you can't think outside of the box because the box is the only place you've ever, only thing that you know. The box is above your head, the box is below your feet, the box is in front of you, behind you, to your left and to your right. Sometimes we can't think out of the box. So you need someone who can think out of this box and push you into other areas, push you into other territories, usher you into new ventures. Who can coach you on a new way to be, a new way of being, a new way of showing up. Who won't let you become content, who won't let you become complacent, who won't let you become okay with the status quo, but who will give you a fresh perspective, who will give you a new outlook, a new way of being, a new way of seeing, a new way of thinking, a new way of speaking, a new way of doing. You want someone who will do that for you. We call them the divergence. And to some degree, these are what I call the devil's advocate, because they will pose a hypothetical. They will offer you a scenario and say, well, what about this way? And it's not to say that what you're thinking or how you're planning to go about it is wrong, but they're offering you another way of thinking. They're offering you the opportunity to be objective. I'm thankful for the opportunity. I'm thankful for people who will give me a way whereby I can see something differently. I'm just talking about making sure we have the right people in our lives. Because I think it's a sad thing when we live year after 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 year, decade after decade after decade. And we keep doing the same thing, the same way, expecting different results. That's insanity. It really is. But I challenge us to do an inventory of the people who are in our lives. I challenge us to do an inventory of the lives that we are in. And having said all of that, I challenge us to do our best with making sure the right people are in our corner. The season is getting ready to change. And as the season is getting ready to change, not that I want you to change your cohort of friends, but walk into this season with a different perspective. Typically, when seasons change, people do major things like, okay, so I'm going to do a major house cleaning as I go into the fall. I'm going to take some clothes and shoes and stuff. I'm going to take them and give them to this charity as seasons change. I'm just suggesting that maybe another big thing that you can do as this season change is to do an inventory of your friends, an inventory of who's in your corner, an inventory of your possible disruptive thinking partners. Let's try that. Let's try that on for size. Let's try that for change. All right. I'm thankful for my mentors. I keep going back to that. Life is so fragile. Sometimes we're here today and gone the same day. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my mentors. I'm thankful that there are those who consider me a mentor. And it is my hope that I never let them down, just as my mentors never let me down. Hey, let's keep doing what we do, you all. I'm probably going to just call or text some of my mentors who are still living to just say I'm thankful for you, because it's weighing heavily on my spirit and my heart right now to say thank you for being there. Mentors didn't have to be there, and they probably had so many other people to whom they could have been a mentor, but I'm thankful that they are in my life. Let's keep doing what we do. I got to get out of here, you all. Let's keep building community. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. Let's keep our heads up, our hopes up. Let's keep, stay safe and stay sane. Don't let the world or people or situations make you lose your mind or give people a piece of your mind, because you need all the mind that you can have, or that you have and that you can keep. But please know that from my heart to yours, there isn't always will be so much love. I'm thankful for the time we spent together. I'm thankful that you all allow me to come into whatever space you allow me to come. I really, really am. So until the next time, tell somebody, come on, let's talk to Cutler, because the man is telling us about how to make sure we have the right people in our corner. And may I say to you all, I'm glad that you are in my corner, and I'm going to do my best to be and stay in your corner. I'll see you all the next time I see you. Have a great evening.